Well, many students ask me, what exactly is the introduction? How should we structure it? Well, this video is dedicated to introduction only, and I will explain what are the elements of introduction and how you can write a really powerful introduction to an essay. But before that, before understanding what exactly you should write in an introduction, and before I move to some examples explaining introduction, giving some detailed structure of the introduction, you need to understand what is the purpose. Why does introduction exist? Well, introduction, if this is your essay, this is the essay, there are three elements. This is the head of the essay, this is the body, and these are the feet, that is the conclusion. So an essay, any essay has three parts. One is the introduction, another is body paragraphs, and finally it's the conclusion. I will make a separate video on conclusion and I will upload it soon and share with you guys, but the purpose here is to stick to introduction here. So introduction is basically meant to communicate. It is meant to clearly communicate, I should say. It is meant to clearly communicate. Clearly communicate what? Clearly communicate the purpose of the body paragraphs. Purpose. It is meant to clearly communicate the purpose. Okay. Now, what is the purpose of an essay? How do you know the purpose of an essay? Well, there are two ways in which you can determine what exactly is the purpose of the essay. Both of these are important to write a powerful introduction. Well, the first element of purpose is, let me change the color. The first element is to understand the question. Understand question. And how do you understand it? Well, the main understanding points are the keywords. Keywords are crucial in understanding what exactly is the purpose of the essay. And I will come to a few examples and it will be amply clear what exactly I mean by keywords. The second part, before you write an introduction, you should always keep in mind that you should understand the question first, understand it completely, mark the keywords, and second is you must at any cost brainstorm the body paragraphs, body paragraph 1, 2, 3. Okay, based on this brainstorming you should mention what exactly are you going to discuss in body paragraphs 1, 2, 3. If you can clearly mention what you are going to discuss in body paragraphs with proper keywords, that will give a proper and most adequate purpose of the essay, and that purpose is basically the introduction. Okay, having said this, you can pause the video at this point, absorb this information, and then move forward. Okay, let us do these two examples, example number 1 and example number 2. But before I begin this, let me write here what exactly are we supposed to do. The first step, step A, is to mark the keywords. And step B is to brainstorm about body paragraphs. I won't brainstorm about body paragraphs. I will simply show that what I've written in the introductions over here, they are basically a plan of what the reader can expect from body paragraphs. That is, these are squeezed or short forms of body paragraphs. Okay. For body paragraphs, you need to read the question very carefully. This demands a close reading of the question, while this demands a close reading of the statement. Okay. Now let us read. This is the statement part, and this is the question part. Similarly, here we have, this is the statement part, and this is the question part. Okay. Let me change the color and let us begin. Some businesses observe that the new employees who just graduated from a college or university seem to lack the interpersonal skills needed for communication with their colleagues. So what are the keywords here? First is some businesses observe. So it is related to business that new employees, the examiner is not asking about all employees, but only about new employees who just graduated from college or university. So they're just graduated means that they are fresh from college or university, and that context must be maintained. Seem to lack interpersonal skills needed for communication with their colleagues. Okay, so these are some of the keywords that you should maintain in your essay in body paragraphs as well as in the introduction. The body paragraphs will be structured around the question, what could be the reasons for this? So when you brainstorm, you should write about the reason. So in body paragraph 1, for example, in BP1, you will talk about reason 1, R1, in BP2, you will talk about reason 2, explain reason 1, explain reason 2. But in the introduction, you will briefly mention R1 and R2. Now let us read this introduction. Many businesses have discovered that new employees often lack the communication skills. It should not be the communication skills, they lack communication skills. This can be attributed. So this part is basically paraphrasing of the statement, okay, while maintaining context. This can be attributed to an excessive focus on professional skills in college and a weak foundation in the language since childhood. So I have given two reasons. Reason number 1, reason number 2. So these are the two basically reasons which I will explain in the body paragraphs. These issues can be resolved through extensive reforms in the education system. So the question is, what could be the reason for this and what solutions can help address this problem? Okay, and this final sentence is the solution. So what I've done is I briefly mentioned my entire plan for body paragraphs. This is what an introduction ideally should be. Okay, let us come to this next question. Some people believe that the Olympic Games do not have a role in the 21st century. That is, they are redundant, they're not useful. Do you agree or disagree with this statement? So this is the question part. Okay, so the keywords are Olympic Games, 21st century. The question is, do you agree or disagree? So you should construct body paragraphs accordingly. Body paragraph 1, whatever you agree or disagree, body paragraph 1 should be reason 1. Body paragraph 2 should be reason number 2. Here you will explain reason 1. Here you will explain reason 2. So what should be the introduction? Well, the first statement should be some sort of paraphrasing, and the next two sentences should briefly mention your plan. That is reason number 1 and reason number 2. Let us go through this. Sports have played an important role in the building the bonds between nations for the past several centuries. I think Olympic Games are more necessary in 21st century. So you have clearly, I have clearly mentioned my disagreement. I think Olympic Games are more necessary in 21st century than ever before. So I have stated my opinion. Now I will mention the reasons. Since we are witnessing an unprecedented level of enmity between nations, and we need to motivate the youth to stay positive. So here I mentioned reason 1, reason 2. So obviously I will discuss reason 1 in body paragraph 1, completely develop it, elaborate on it, and reason number 2 in body paragraph 2. So I repeat the basic tenet of an introduction. It is basically a purpose of the entire essay, and that purpose is dependent upon two elements: keywords and what exactly are you going to discuss in body paragraphs. So you need to first think about body paragraphs before writing an introduction. Once it is clear that, okay, I'm going to elaborate on these 2 points, you should write an introduction. Okay, I hope you liked the video. If you have any doubt, any question, please feel free to ask in the comments box below. Please share this video and stay tuned for more interesting stuff.